ॐ सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। Namaskarbhya. Welcome you all to the next session of Sangeeta Ratnakara, an overview offered by Arsha Seva Kendram. Sangeeta Ratnakara is a musical treatise composed in the 13th century by a great scholar, Sharangadeva, on Indian music. This Grantha has 7 chapters called Adhyayas. The first chapter, Swaragatadhyaya, is being discussed in these sessions. Here, the author makes a division of the topics into sub-chapters called Prakaranas. And among them, till now we have covered Padartha Sangraha Prakarana, Pindotpatti Prakarana, Nada Sthana Shruti Swara Jati Kula Daivata Rishi Chandarasa Prakarana, Grama Murchana Krama Tana Prakarana, Sadharana Prakarana, and then Varnalankara Prakarana. The first sub-chapter, Padartha Sangraha, is a collection of the topics that are being discussed in the text. Along with the collection of the topics, he also dealt with the lineage of acharyas to whom he is showing his gratitude, the divine beings associated with Sangeetam, origin of Indian music, and all such topics. In the second subchapter, Pindotpatti Prakarana, there is a discussion about the human embodiment and the relevance of the topic for music, as music is supposed to be for the bhukti and mukti sadhana. In the third Prakarana, Nada Sthana Shruti Swara Jati Kula Daivata Rishi Chandarasa Prakarana, he gives us the foundational concepts for Sangeeta. And in the fourth Prakarana, Grama Murchana Krama Tana Prakarana, he talks about the 3 gramas, collection of swaras, among them Shadja and Madhyama gramas are available for human beings, whereas Gandhara grama is more popular in higher realms. And in the fifth Prakarana, that is Sadharana Prakarana, there is a discussion about the overlapping of swaras, Sadharanikarana or Sadharanyam, you can say. There is a discussion about Kakali Nishada and Antaragandhara, and he also gives us some information about Kaishika Nishada. It is like Kaishika Nishada is like Keshagravat. That kind of subtlety it holds. Keshaha. From it forms Kaishika with Thak Pratyaya. And then in Varnalankara Prakarana, which is the sixth Prakarana, there is a beautiful discussion of various combinations of the 7 swaras in the Aroha Avaroha Krama. Each put together becomes 63 alankaras with various combinations. And in today's session, we are going to take up the 7th Prakarana, that is Jati Prakarana, melodic types. Here, this Jati Prakarana, we can say it is a precursor to modern ragas. So, he Here, jati refers to a structured melodic type that he developed before talking about the ragas. And then he says, Shuddhaha syuhu jatayaha saptataha षड्जादि स्वराभिधाः षाड्यार्षभी च गान्धारी मध्यमा पंचमी तथा धैवती चाथ नैषादी शुद्धता लक्ष्म कथ्यते. So he says there are 7 Shuddha Jatis. The Shuddha are primary Jatis, you can say, melodic types. And each of them is named after the particular note. Shadji is named after Shadja. Arshabhi is named after Rishabha. Gandhari is named after Gandhara, like that. And the word Jati, Jan Dhatu, it actually means a class, a genus, or an ethnic group, implying an attribute or a characteristic commonly shared by the constituent members that also exhibit other individual features. So they distinguish these individual features, distinguish them from each other. Like Pashu Jati, Pushpa Jati, Manushya Jati, like that. Bharata Muni, systematized music of his times, and he developed 18 basic melodic types, which he called jatis only. And in the context of music, the word jati has been defined semantically in various ways by Matanga also. Jatis are so called because they come into being by the collection of such factors as the Shruti, Swara, Grama, and they arise from the initial note and Graha, Amsha, all these things. And these give rise to or induces the enjoyment of a particular sentiment. We call this a rasa or aesthetic delight. And also, jatis are so called because they are the cause of the entire phenomenon of a raga. And then Kallinatha says, jatis are duly constituted out of the proper combination of the 2 gramas. Like if we take cows, for example, as a class of jati, as a class or a jati, many individual cows have a gotva or cowness. They call this unique property in cows as Sasnadimatvam Gotva Lakshanam. So in Tarka Shastra they say, how do you say the cow has a unique quality? It is by looking at all the cows which have a common factor among them. So that is that Sasnadimatvam Gotva Lakshanam. Same way, jati is inherent in the ragas and their mixed and derived forms also. So, out of the 18 recognized jatis or melodic types, 7 are called Shuddha and the remaining 11 are known as Sansargaja Vikritaya. So he talks about, Sharngadeva talks about Shuddhata Lakshanam first. Shuddhata Lakshma Kathyate. So he says, Yasam. Just a minute. I will let it go. Here it is. Yasam namasvaro nyasaha apanyasaha amshaha grahastatha tara nyasa vihinaha taha purnaha shuddhabhida mataha. So to define shuddhata, he says, it is stated that the jatis which have their denominative note as the final note, the semi-final note as apanyasa, the fundamental note amsha, and the initial note graha. So shuddha, what he says is shuddhata is derived from shuddha, and here it is used to refer to the purity of the shuddha jati. And then he talks about namaswara, the denominative note is the one by which the jati is named, Shadji, Arshabhi, like that. And then Nyasa are the final note, where we conclude the Antima Swara, that is the Nyasa Swara. And then there is Apanyasa, semi-final note. It is the concluding note of a section of a melody. So if we are singing one particular composition, what happens is before ending with the final note, we come to a particular swara and then stop the with the ultimate final swara, that is apanyasa. And then there can be more than one semi-final note in a melody. And then he talks about amsha. This is called vadiswara in modern times. So this fundamental note or amsha, it is the most prominent note and it functions as the dominant as well as tonic note. Graha or the initial note is that which the song is commenced, with which the song is commenced, and each raga was specified to start with a particular swara in Shastras. Nowadays, people are starting wherever they want to, many of the ragas, but earlier it was not so. And then there are three important considerations which determine the Shuddhata of Jatis: purity, originality, and their being primary or otherwise. And then he talks about Vikritaha Jatayaha. Vikrita Nyasavarjaihi Tallakshmahina Bhavantyamuhu Sampurnatva Grahamsha Apanyaseshu Ekaika Varjanat. So, these Shuddha Jatis, when devoid of their characteristics, accepting the rule for the final note, become modified. So, when we add or bring some changes into the Shuddha Jatis, then by the omission of completeness, the initial note, fundamental note, and the semi-final note, many varieties are obtained. And they are called again Shadava, Audava Jatis. And then Samsargaja Vikrita Jatayaha, associate modified Jatis are obtained. Here, what happens? 11 forms are known to be produced by the association of the modified jatis. Vikritanam tu samsargat jataha ekadasha smritaha. Syat shadja kaishiko shadjodichyava shadja madhyama. Gandharodichyava raktagandhari kaishiki tatha. Madhyamodichyava karmaravi gandhara panchami. Tatha andhri nandayantiti tadhetuna adhuna bruve. So the formations arising out of the association of the modifications are accepted to be 11. So they are Shadja Kaishiki, Shadjodityava, Shadja Madhyama, Gandharodityava, Rakta Gandhari, Kaishiki, Madhyamodityava, Karmaravi, Gandhara Panchami, Andhri, and Nandayanti. So together they yield 23 jatis when combined with the 7 pure jatis. And as the name suggests, Shadja Kaishiki is formed by the combination of Shadja and Shadji and Gandhari. Shadja Madhyama arises from Shadji and Madhyama. Gandhara Panchami is brought forth by Gandhari and Panchami. And then Andhri is born from Gandhari and Arshabhi. Like that it goes on. And then Jatinam Grama Vibhaga. He talks about the Grama wise distribution of Jatis. They are out of the 18 Jatis, Chatasraha, Shadja Shabdinyaha, Naishadi Dhaivati Tatha, Arshabhi Cheti Saptaitaha, Shadjagramasya Jatayaha. Sheshaha Syuhu Madhyama Grame. Out of the 18 jatis, 7 Shuddha and 11 Vikrita jatis are there. And the 7 belong to the Shadjagrama. The 4 jatis having the word Shadja in their name are also Naishadi, Dhaivati, and Arshabhi. These 7 pertain to Shadjagrama. And the remaining ones belong to the Madhyamagrama. And here he talks about Sampurna Shadava Audva Jatayaha. Here Purnatvad Adhuna Uchyate, Karmaravyatha, Gandhara Panchami, Shadja Kaishiki, and all those things he talks about. And what he says is the completeness and other characteristics are related as under Karmaravi, Gandhara Panchami, Shadja Kaishiki, and Madhyamodityava never form any Shadava or Audava varieties. And they are always considered complete, Sampurna. And then Shadji, Nandayanti, Andhri, and Gandharodichyava are declared by Kashyapa to be Sampurna and also Shadava. The remaining ones are accepted to be Sampurna, Shadava, and Audava. So accordingly, the divisions are made. And then Jatishu Swara Sadharana Niyamaha, the rule pertaining to the overlapping of notes in certain jatis. So overlapping of notes has been mentioned by Bharata Muni and others in relation to jatis called Panchami, Madhyama, and Shadja Madhyama. Here, in some jatis and ragas, Antara Gandhara and Kakali Nishada are weak. So, in such places, Swara Sadharana should be accordingly applied in relation to. Are you able to hear?
Now we can, but in the last probably 3-4 minutes, there was so much breaking up, we couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't hear you.
No, I couldn't hear. In fact, I also.
Okay. So,
actually, your picture
I think there is some issue with the internet. It is getting cut again and again.
Now it's audible. Mahodaya.
Okay. Okay. So where were we actually? Were you able to hear about this? Vikrita Jatayah. Shall I repeat that?
Yeah, that last 2-3 sentences were not clearly heard.
We are
Okay.
talking about that 18 jatis. After that, we couldn't hear properly.
Oh, okay. So, the grama-wise distribution of jatis, I think that is where the internet got cut. So he talks about out of the 18 jatis, 7 Shuddha and 11 Vikrita, 7 belong to the Shadjagrama. The 4 having the word Shadja in their name, as also Naishadi, Dhaivati and Arshabhi, these 7 pertain to Shadjagrama. And then the remaining ones belong to the Madhyamagrama. And then he talks about Sampurna, Shadava, Auduva, Jatayaha. So he says Karmaravyatha, Gandhara Panchami, Shadja Kaishiki, all those details he gives. The completeness and other characteristics are related as under. Karmaravi, Gandhara Panchami, Shadja Kaishiki, and Madhyamodityava, they never form any Shadava or Auduva varieties. And they are always considered complete, Sampurna. And regarding Shadji, Nandayanti, Andhri, and Gandharodichyava, they are declared to be Sampurna by Kashyapa. And then the remaining ones are accepted to be Sampurna, Shadava, and Auduva Jatis. And next he talks about Jatishu Swara Sadharana Niyamaha, the rule pertaining to the overlapping of notes in certain jatis. Panchami, Madhyama, Shadja Madhyama, Khyasu Jatishu Swara Sadharanam Proktam Munibhihi Bharatadibhihi. Overlapping of notes has been mentioned by Bharata Muni and others in relation to jatis called Panchami, Madhyama, and Shadja Madhyama. And in some jatis and ragas, Antara Gandhara and Kakali Nishada are weak, so Swara Sadharana should be accordingly applied in relation to Shadja Madhyama and Panchama. The overlapping of notes in these jatis is recommended by Bharata, Kambala, and Ashwata. And then next he talks about yes, this is also over, no? So Jati Gatamsha Swaraganana. So now he talks about the number of fundamental notes in different jatis. Ekamsha Nandayanti cha Madhyamodicyava tatha Gandhara Panchamityetaha Tisraha Dhyamshastu Dhaivati. So what he says here is the 3 jatis, Nandayanti, Madhyamodicyava, and Gandhara Panchama. There they have one fundamental note, Grahaswara, what you call. And then Dhaivati, Gandharodichyava, and Panchami, they have 2 fundamental notes. And then Naishadi, Arshabhi, and Shadja Kaishiki have 3 fundamental notes. Like that, it goes on. And then he talks about Jatinam Trayodasha Samanya Lakshanani, 13 factors characterizing jatis. What are these special factors? They are Graha, Amsha, Tara, Mandra, Nyasa, Apanyasa, and then Sanyasa, Vinyasa, Bahutva, Alpata, Antaramarga, and Shadava, Audvita, like that. So, what is a Graha note? Graha Swara. When it is the initial note actually. So, Geetadi. Where did it? Okay. Okay. So, Geetadi Nihitastatra Swaro Graha Itiritaha Tatra Amshagrahayoho Anyatara Uktau Ubhayagraha. So, the 13 characteristic features are spoken of jatis. So, among them, the note that is placed in the very commencement of the melody is known as graha. So, it is said that practically the initial note is the same as the fundamental note amsha in all jatis. Therefore, the two terms are interchangeable. So, of these two, where only one is mentioned, the other is invariably implied to be the same. So, graha is literally and semantically defined as the note that takes hold of the song or by which the song is initiated. It's a fixed position.
Mahodaya, so Mahodaya, this applies to the song and not to the raga alapana.
See, he actually, that graha bheda, that is different. Here, graha, initial note with which we start singing, no? Singing or playing on an instrument. That initial note he is talking about.
So, but no, what I'm asking is, but it says where the melody, does this apply to the song
Raga.
or the raga
Yes,
itself?
yeah.
Okay.
Because
okay.
The next topic would be about raga, no? That is the second adhyaya is Raga Viveka.
Okay.
For that,
So
this is a precursor for that. So he is talking about all these swaras, which are very, very important in
like a jiva swara.
Yes.
Okay.
So this jiva swara, he doesn't say graha is the jiva swara. He says amsha, the yaha rakti vyanjako geye yat samvadyanuvadinau vidaryam bahulau yasmat taramandra vyavasthitihi. So mukhya swara, you can say about amsha. Jiva swara also. So this but they are interchangeable. That is also there because this amsha swara, a fundamental note, what he says is it is expressive of delightfulness in a melody. Okay, so it is profuse in a composition. It keeps repeating. So it determines the position of the higher and the lower pitch range, and then it is its own consonant actually. but it can have another note as assonant, that which is capable of being the final note. And then it is frequently employed in practice, and because of its efficiency, it has a lot of profusion, baulatva, and it is very popular in a raga. So these are the most comprehensive characteristic marks of the Amshaswara. And one more speciality of the Amshaswara is that it is capable of being its own consonant at times. And a king who sometimes may perform the functions of a minister, but never of a servant. So he talks about some ragas in Hindustani, Marwa, Puriya, Gujri, all those ragas, we don't actually have them. If we look at our ragas, maybe in Kalyani or Mohana, in Carnatic music, there we have these Amshaswara very dominant, no? And then, according to Bharata, the Amshaswara in a song on which its raga depends, from which the charm proceeds, is the basis of the variation into mandra and tara pitches, depending on the first 5 notes and in the combination of many notes. So it is related to graha, apanyasa, vinyasa, sanyasa, nyasa, and all these swaras. So it lies scattered throughout the song. That's what he says. And then he talks about tara. Madhyame saptake amshaha syat tasmat tarasthitat paran swarans chatura arohe desha taravadhi paraha arvaktu kamacharaha syat tare luptopi ganyate jnatara shadjamaroho nandayantyam prakirtitaha. So he talks about the higher pitch range. Here, the fundamental note is placed in the middle saptaka, that is Madhya Saptaka. And from there, in the Tara Saptaka, may ascend up to 4 notes. For example, if we take Nandayanti, which is the Jati of the Madhyama Grama, the fundamental note is Panchama. So Madhyama Grama, it starts from which note? It starts from Madhyama, right? The ascending movement is limited to the higher Shadja. So this is an exception to the other rule, which says fundamental note is placed in the Madhya Saptaka. And then he talks about mandra, lower pitch. If we look at Amarakosha, it says Gambhira Dhvanihi Mandraha. So here, in musical parlance, Madhyasthana Sthitad Amshat Amandrasthamsha Mavrajet. So from the fundamental note placed in the middle Madhyama Grama, one may descend up to the fundamental note in the lower register, or alternatively up to the lower final note, or even up to re and the below that. And then he talks about nyasa, the note with which a musical composition is concluded, is the final note. And he talks about 21 forms of Nyasa Swara, but they say it's not available to us in today's music world. So he says, Gite Samaptikranyasa एकविंशतिधा च सह षाड्ज्यादीनां तु सप्तानां न्यासः स्यान् नामकृत swarah. So, of the 7 Shuddha Jatis, such as Shadji and others, their denominative note is their final note. In Shadja Madhyama, the 2 notes designating it are considered to be its final notes. If we take Udichyava, there are 3 types of Udichyava. Shadjodichyava, Madhyamodichyava, Gandharodichyava. So, this Shadjodichyava ends with Ma. And all the 3 actually, Shadjodichyava, Madhyamodichyava and Gandharodichyava. Kaishiki ends with Ni, Pa and Ga. Karmaravi ends with Panchama, all others end with Ga. That is what he says. And when we go to the semi-final note, here, Apanyasa Swaraha Saha Syat Yaha Vidari Samapakaha Karmarabhyam Chanaishadyam Andhri Madhyama Yoho Tatha. So this, what is the Apanyasaha? It is the semi-final note. So, before, when we end singing, so what we do is come to a particular swara and then end with the final swara. So that the swara which precedes the resting note or nyasa or final swara, that is apanyasa. Sometimes it needs to be avoided. This apanyasa needs to be avoided so that there is no dissonance in the singing. And then talking about sannyasa, amsha vivadi geetasya adya vidari samapti krit sannyasamsha vivadyeva vinyasaha satu kathyate. So sannyasa is the concluding note. So here concluding note of the first subsection of a musical composition. And it should not be a vivadi dissonant. And vinyasa stands at the end of a pada. Suppose I can show you how sannyasa and vinyasa can be identified. If we take there is a Jayadeva Ashtapadi, I'll try to sing that and show. Just a minute. Lalita lavanga lata parishilana komala malaya samira. Here, what happens is, this Lalita Lavanga, if you continuously sing Lata Parishilana Komala Malaya Samire, till that, that is Vinyasa. When you stop at Malaya Samire, that is Vinyasa. Otherwise, if you say Lalita Lavanga, you take a pause and then Lalita Lavanga Lata Parishilana. So that pause we take in between, that is sannyasa. And he talks about 19 apanyasas and then there are many divisions in further these things, notes. And he talks about bahutvam alpatvam. This bahutva is alanghanat tatha abhyasat bahutvam dvividham matam. So bahutva is twofold: non-overstepping and repetition. So it keeps repeating, but it is not overstepping into some other swara. And alpatvam cha dvidha proktam anabhyasat cha langhanat. So this alpatvam is rareness, you can say. That is also twofold, by the absence of repetition and by overstepping. And then he talks about the nyasadi sthanam uchhitva antaramarga madhye madhye alpatayucham swaranam ya vichitratva karinyam shadi sangatihi. So sparing the positions of the final note or the semi-final note, initial and fundamental notes, taking the rare notes madhye madhye, the concordance established with the other notes used creates an artistic variety. So sometimes what happens, some swaras, they come in between rarely, but they add some beauty to the raga. So this creates wonderful tonal structure. This happens sometimes by non-repetition or somewhere by overstepping only once or twice. And this is called antaramarga and is generally formed among modified jatis. And then he talks about Shadava. Shadavanti prayogam prayogam ye swaraha te Shadava mataha. Shat swaram teshu jatatvat geetam Shadavam uchyate. So here what happens? This Auduva also, Vanti Yantyuduva Yantyuduvaha Atreti Vyomoktam Uduvam Budhaihi. So Vanti Yanti Vagati Gandhanayoho, you must have heard. And Shadavanti is Ye Shat Swaraha Shuddha Vikrita Va Prayogam Jatyadikam Avanti Ava Rakshane. So Jatyadikam Avanti Rakshanti Pravartayanti Jatyadikam Pravartayanti Te Shadavaha Swaraha Shadaveshu Jatam Shadavam. That is the way it is understood. Shadavanti prayogam ye swaraha te shadava mataha. Ye shat swaraha shuddha vikrita va prayogam jatyadikam avanti. Avarakshane rakshanti pravartayanti. Te shadavaha swaraha shadaveshu jatam shadav. And regarding the Shadava and Auduva formations, the 6 notes that preserve a musical performance are accepted to be hexatonic or Shadava. And the song arising out of those 6 is called Shadava. Here in the Uduva is Udus. In the sky, the Udus, the stars, move about. It is called Uduvam by the rishis. So he says, Vyomoktam Uduvam Budhaihi. That is 5th among the great elements also. Like Prithvi, Ap, Tejaha, Vayuhu, Akashaha. So the 5 Pancha Mahabhutas. So Uduvam, sky is so named because it is the dwelling place of Udus, stars. Auduvi is number 5, derived from Uduvam because it is the 5th of the 5 great elements. Auduvita is the name of that song which is qualified by the number 5. And then Auduva is a group of 5 notes belonging to a raga or song. So beautifully he explains this. And then Jatinam Vishesha Lakshanani. Next he talks about the special characteristic features of the particular jatis. Shadjyam amshaha swaraha pancha nishadarshabha varjitaha nilopat shadavam swahatra purnatve kakali kvachit. And then for each of the jatis, Shadji jati, and then Arshabhi jati, and then Gandhari jati. So for each of them, he describes the special characteristics of the particular jatis. So here what happens, in the Shadji jati, there is ni and ri are excluded. Swaraha, amshaha swaraha pancha. Nishadarshabha varjitaha. Nishada and rishabha varjita. Nilopat shadavam saha atra purnatve kakali kvachit. Sometimes considered complete with kakali. And then if we look at the Arshabhi jati, there are 3 fundamental notes, Nishada, Dhaivata and Rishabha. Ga and Ni are in Sangati with other notes. And in Gandhari jati, there are 5 amsha swaras except Ri and Dha. Gandhara is the Nyasa, Shadja and Panchama are the Apanyasa swaras. And in Madhyama, there are 5 amshas amsha swaras other than Gandhara and Nishada. Madhyama is the Nyasa, amsha swaras are Apanyas. So like that he keeps explaining, and then he talks about the Tala which is threefold, Panchapani, 5-beat cycle, he mentions about it. And then Ekakala, Dvikala, Chatushkala are there, no? So here he talks about Ekakala. And songs are classified as Marga, Chitravritti, and then Dakshina. And how to apply the proper application, Viniyoga, is known to be in the Naishkarmiki Dhruva, in the first act of a drama. So it is about talking about drama also, where music is employed. And then there are 12 kalas of 8 laghus each. Variable unit of time kala is. And then laghu is the measure of time taken to pronounce 5 short syllables. That is 8 laghus in 1 kala. Is 1 kala. Okay, this is about Shadji jati. And then finally, he says elements of derived ragas are seen in the original jatis. These, when sung properly, formerly uttered by Brahma, when worshipping Shankara, absolves the practitioner who has committed even Brahma Hatya also. And how the Rik, Yaju, Sama mantras cannot be altered. Jatis that have arisen from Saman also shall not be altered. So Samans also, these jatis are also similar to the Vedas. That is what has been described in this Jati Prakarana. So I didn't go into too much of details because too much of theory may not be enjoyed. So how these jatis help generate rasa, give rise to ragas, and considered purifying and divine. So basically, it is almost talking about ragas only, but these ragas are taken up in the second adhyaya. So we have one more prakarana in this. So eighth prakarana is Geeti prakarana. So we will take up that in the next session.
So, Mahodaya, so he's talked about Thala in this raga too, right? So I'm trying to see how you would differentiate a song or a Geetam from the raga, because we kind of think, at least my understanding is like a raga has no kala, what should I say, restrictions on that. Right? But in a song, you put the kala framework and then you fit the raga and the lyrics to that. So, but in his description, even in the raga itself, he has defined the thala.
Yes.
And I'm trying to see how it fits with, I mean, because we are, that's a different dimension at all together.
Yes.
To me.
Actually, Mahodaya, my Guruji in Mumbai, used to say, even he used to say, I mean, because, normally we say, Kalpita and Kalpana, Kalpita Sangeetam has got a set rhythm, layam pattern and all that. And Kalpana Sangeetam is, where you let your imagination go.
Yes.
But my Guruji used to say that, even when you're singing an alapana, there is an inherent underlying current of this thing, layam in that. That you should understand and sing. Like that he used to say.
Okay.
I mean, just what Rukmini Bhagini just now asked. The same thing my Guruji used to say that, it is there and you have to realize that and sing. Sometimes, I have noticed, when some people sing alapana, it is all sort of loose. When some people sing, it is sort of somewhat structured. I mean, that has its own beauty. I have felt that. So,
Mahodaya, I would add that same Guruji used to use the word Manodharma. Manodharma music, there is a dharmam there. There is a built-in inherent protocol that you adhere to. Although you are creating on the fly in real time, there is an inherent protocol. Dharmam, you have to stay true. You have to stay true to the dharmam. Anyway, and then now that I'm speaking, and there is two comments I want to make on a slightly different thing. Other is in the thala that you mentioned, in the thing you talk, there is a mention of southern style. So in the 13th century, there was consideration of southern style, or a regional something is very popular in the southern parts of the continent or something. Maybe
the southern parts I only mentioned. No, it won't be there in the text.
It's not there. It's not in it.
Dakshinatya,
Okay, then,
they might have given Dakshinatya in the text.
Yeah, the Dakshina, yeah, but is that Dakshina we associate
possible
with South? Yeah, so I just wondered. And then the other thing is, when North Indians sing a swara, the dha is really dha, the fourth dha.
Yes.
When South Indians, Carnatic musicians do Paraprastaram, Kalpanaswaram, it is the soft dha. And until today, I always thought dha is that as a Daivatam is associated, it comes from the root that means divinity or divine, Divyam, Daivikam, whatever. But here in 13th century, he's using the dha. So what is the root for the dha?
I'll check and come back to you. I don't have an answer for that.
I always thought that I noticed this difference when you listen to a Hindustani musician, the dha comes really guttural, it really comes very strong.
Mahaprana dha.
Yes.
Now, but when South Carnatic musicians sing, it's very soft.
Alpa prana dha.
Alpa prana, yeah. And now in the 13th century text, it is Mahaprana.
Yes.
Isn't it? So, anyway, thank you.
Mahodaya.
Actually, that is why, when during Tanam, if the Mridangam accompaniment is there, the Tanam looks different. It has got its own beauty.
Yes.
Nowadays, many people do. Because, and especially Tanam is very, very this thing for Veena. Radha Bhagini will be able to give more this thing to it. She is more qualified to talk on that. But because Veena is made for Tanam, I mean, such a this thing. And nowadays, many vocalists, when they sing Tanam, very gently the Mridanga is accompanies.
Yes, and the audience claps. The audience also keeps the talam.
No. That sounds very, very nice. I think that is where I feel that, even that Kalpana Sangeetam, Kalpita Sangeetam, not Kalpita Sangeetam. So Kalpana Sangeetam, there is an inherent rhythm in it. Or
Yes.
These are very minute points,
Yes, let us hear what Radha Bhagini
was. So well, we look into, I mean, I'm talking about myself. We like to look at
I think Radha Bhagini is more qualified among us.
Yeah, she is more
musical
qualified.
Prowess.
Yeah. And she should give her views also.
Please unmute Bhagini, Radha Bhagini. We can't hear you.
Namaste, Bhagini. Even while in the Nadaswaram playing, we find that they accompany the tawil while the raga is being played also. So it goes with our culture. That's what I view it, because in temples they play the Nadaswaram and in the marriages they do it. It's considered an auspicious thing. Melody is always related to the women and the rhythm is related to the man. So they say that women should not be alone without the man, and the man should not be.
Shrutir Mata Laya Pita.
Yeah. So it's always together. So that's why they play the Tawil Ragam is being played. That's how I view it.
So beautiful.
A grounded feeling when there is a rhythmic structure. While you sing without the rhythm, actually it's not a thalam, but some kind of measured beats. It's not bonded to some cycles. It might be or might not be, but it has a very systematic undercurrent of rhythm that is making it more refined and grounded. You feel more grounded, like you are not doing whatever you want without any rule. My sir used to tell, it's always like Carnatic music and our culture in short, in everything is freedom within discipline. So you have a big ground, playground is there, that is the limit for that play. So you cannot go beyond the ground. Like that, we have the restrictions of ragas, these samsaswaras, nyasaswaras, grahaswaras, everything you have. But within the ground, you have to play. You cannot go out of the ground. So then you're not like that. We have these rules. So, but at the same time, we are free to move about inside.
See, I was thinking for the ragas, the dharma is related to the notes. But this is the first time I am understanding. I have very limited exposure to music, but this is the first time I'm realizing that there is a rhythmic component to the free-flowing raga too. And I guess I need to look for it. I need to look
if you put a sangati in a different rhythm, it will not sound nice, no? Suppose you sing Arabi.
Yeah.
Is giving the shape for the raga. See, if you sing the same thing in all the notes in the same rhythm, the shape of the raga will not be there. There are fast and slow things that add to the beauty of the raga, right? So
okay, so that is what it is. So it is not a cycle of rhythm, but that the kala time you give in between. The kala pramanam between the notes, that also form part of the definition of the raga. I never thought about it that way.
No rhythm will without melody. Everywhere you find
that is, see, it's a very, I mean, we've known that, I mean, instinctively, but it is actually part of the laya aspect of it, like you say, the, laya of Pita, when you say how intrinsic that component is now I've realized. When you sing Arabi and you showed that, it's like a spurikar, just right then and there. Thank you.
So each phrase has got a
kala pramanam. That's why when you sing the beginners, when they sing the raga alapana, they don't know this technique. So they used to sing all the phrases in the equal duration. That's why you said, no, it sounded very loose like that.
Yes, that loose is the word. Loose is the word. No, I was going on thinking. Dola dola in Tamil we say, no, dola dola dola.
அந்த டைட்னஸ் எது குடுக்கறனா அந்த எண்ட்ல ஒரு it should be a short note at the end, no? Crisp ending should be there. When you finish the phrase, it should be very crisp, which the beginners are not trained into that. So they don't know. So they keep extending the ends, and that will give that feeling, what you say, because we are looking that our students also do that mistake.
Amazing. You put it very beautifully, Radha Bhagini. The whole day, I'll be mulling over this.
Very easily explained. And summary of concepts learned today is here. And then we have learned about so many topics in today's session. And this till now we have covered what are the topics if we start from the beginning. All these topics we have covered in Alankara, and then so there ends the 7th Prakarana. So it was so beautiful, Radha Bhagini. Thank you very much for making it easy for me. Anyhow,
just what our gurus tell us, that's what I repeat, because I've been under Professor K. Subramanian. So he's an ethnomusicologist.
Oh, okay.
So ethnomusicology is